Hello everyone, it is Mike again, and today I'm going to cover something that can be incredibly important and very helpful for your day-to-day gameplay, but can also be very intimidating to new and veteran players alike. Party Finder. And I'm also going to throw a little bit of extra info in about Duty Finder as a little bonus for reasons that you'll find out later. Now, I often read on the forums people telling other players to use Party Finder for specific activities, but Party Finder can be a beast if you're not familiar with it. However, it's so incredibly helpful for such a variety of different activities in this game. From learning how to complete a duty or how to perform well on your job, farming various drops, to even recruiting people to your free company. So I would recommend learning how to use it, and that's where this video comes in. So let's go ahead and jump right on in, and I'm going to begin with some of the options you may not know exist in Duty Finder, since that could very well influence how you use Party Finder. Okay, so Duty Finder is something that you should already be familiar with, simply because if you don't want or you're too nervous to use it, you just can't advance in this game. There's a lot of required duties that are going to be locked behind using Duty Finder, and if you don't want to use it, you simply can't advance in the story and therefore in the game as a whole. But there's an aspect of Duty Finder that you may be unaware of if you've never explored all the options that are hidden behind this small little cog at the top left corner of the Duty Finder box. Clicking on this cog is going to give you a few different options. For instance, it's going to make joining a party in progress an option, which means if someone leaves a dungeon midway through, you're going to be available as a replacement for that person, or you can just get a fresh duty. If you leave this unchecked, you're only going to be placed in a brand new instance. Undersized Party is a really good one for a couple of reasons. So first, you can turn this on if you want to complete a duty without meeting the role requirements, which means you can go in solo, as a duo, or a trio, and it's also going to ignore level sync, allowing you to complete the duty at your current level. You're also able to leave the duty without taking the normal 30-minute penalty for leaving a duty before it's complete. So, if you want to try to do something solo, you turn on this option. But if you find you're unable to, you can simply leave and join a regular party instead. Now, the downside of this is that you're not going to get any experience or any spirit bond from that duty. The other really nice thing about this option is that you can use it to go into a duty and watch the opening cutscene at your own pace and simply enjoy it without worrying that it may be taking a little bit too long. Then you can simply leave without taking a penalty. And this comes in especially handy during the Realm Reborn questline, where some duty intros, like Leviathan, Shiva, or Cape Wespin, can be really long. If you want to use Undersized Party to bypass role restrictions, or say go in with 2 people instead of 4, but you still want your level to be synced, you can also choose Level Sync, which is directly underneath Undersized Party and only available as an option if Undersized Party is selected. Minimum eye level is going to revert all of your gear and the gear of the rest of your party to the minimum eye level for the instance that you're entering. And side note here, much like Undersized Party and the rest of the options you have here, outside of course the Party in Progress option, you can only use this when you are entering with a pre-made party. Silence Echo is going to prevent you from receiving any of the echo bonuses like stat, damage, or HP increases that some of the older duties have. Explore mode is going to be a real fun one for some of you, because it allows you to enter a dungeon that you've already completed in its already completed form, meaning there's not going to be any enemies or bosses or chests or anything of that sort. And this is really great for those of you who like to go in and take a look around, search all those little nooks and crannies, and read every little note or book that may be present. It's also going to let you use limit breaks freely, which is fantastic for taking screenshots. Now, this is a relatively new feature, and not all instances are available, but they're adding more and more as time goes on. Finally, we have Limited Leveling Roulette. Now to use this one, you must have a party that meets the minimum requirements for a duty. And then when you select Duty Roulette, it's going to limit the random duty that you'll get to be within 8 levels of the party member who has the lowest level. And I know that may be sounding a little bit confusing here, so let me put it a little bit simpler. If you and 3 friends want to do leveling roulette, and the lowest member of your party is level 60, this option is going to limit the available duties to just those that are level 53 to 60. If you're using any of these options, you can also select loot rules, meaning you can limit loot to greed only or create a loot master, which is going to designate the party leader to distribute the loot to the person of their choice. And the final thing you can do here is place a language restriction. So you're only placed with those people who speak that language that you hopefully know. And you can choose between Japanese, English, German, or French. But let's go ahead and move on to the beast that is Party Finder. And this is a really great option if you want to put together a party to learn a piece of content or to farm it. If you want to do something like roleplay during a dungeon or simply run the dungeon in a non-traditional way. So say you want to learn how to tank, and you know you're going to be pulling incredibly slowly and things may be a little touch and go. This is a great way to put together a party just for that, so you don't have to worry about anyone getting angry with you or about going too slow and messing things up while you learn. Now, I know this is very intimidating for some people, and I've heard a lot of you say that you're just hesitant to use it because it just looks like a beast. But hopefully after this, you're going to be a lot more comfortable and be able to use it just fine. So to access Party Finder, go to the main menu and select Party, and then click on Party Finder. You can also drag and drop this to the hotbar or keybind it to make things a little bit more simple if you're going to use it often. Once you're here, you're going to see a lot of information, and I'm going to try to go through all of it for you just so you know what is what. First things first though, like all UI elements, you can right click on this box to change its size from 60 to 200% or drag it around wherever you want it to go. So starting at the top, you're going to see these 3 tabs. The first one is Data Center, and it's going to open all the recruitment listings from everybody on your data center. So since I'm on Aether, it's going to show me the recruitment listings for all the servers on Aether. And since duties can be completed with anybody on your data center, you can freely join any of them. If the recruiter is on a different server than your own, they're going to have this small blue flower thingy by their name. World is only going to show the recruitment listings for the recruiters on your specific server. So for instance, since I'm on Sargatanas, this is only going to show me the listings of the people who are also on Sargatanas. Private are for those who have duties that you need a code to join, and this is really great if you have a static, but not all the members are on the same server as you. The next row shows all the duty subcategories, like roulettes, dungeons, PvP, raids, all that fun stuff. This is fairly self-explanatory, so I'm really not going to go into it. To the right of the subcategories, you also have these frankly seldom used options. I don't actually know anybody who uses any of these options, but they're there if you want to. Filter settings will allow you to uncheck and therefore not see any of the recruitment posts which have certain conditions, like the aforementioned Loot Master. Descending and ascending, again, are pretty self-explanatory. Settings is going to give you a few more options on what listings are seen. Search will allow you to do more of an advanced search. And finally, recruiter name will allow you to search for a specific recruiter. Now you can mostly ignore almost all of these options if you want. There's really nothing here that's too important unless you really want it to be. The bulk of this box is used to display the actual recruitment postings. It will tell you the name of the duty and any message the recruiter added to the listing, the roles the recruiter is looking for, if an average item level is required, and the recruiter's name. If you find a duty that you want to join or you just simply want to know more about it, click on that duty and another box will open that's going to display all the relevant information as well as give you the option to join the party, send a message to the recruiter, or simply go back to the main Party Finder page. If you click on Join Party and it doesn't let you join, that means you don't meet one of the requirements set by the recruiter. So make sure you're on the job that you want to run the duty on before you join. After you join, you can change to whatever job you want, just in case the recruiter asks you to, or maybe you want to craft or gather or something while you wait for the party to fill. But say you want to recruit a party of your own. This is also something that may look a little bit intimidating, but is really simple, so I'm going to go ahead and break it on down for you. To set up your own party recruitment, click on the Recruit Members option at the bottom left of the Party Finder box. This is going to pull up the Recruitment Criteria box. There are 3 tabs across the top: Normal, Alliance, and Custom Match. The options under all 3 of these tabs are mostly the same. However, Alliance is going to limit you to just 24-man raids, Custom Match to PvP, and Normal is basically everything else. And since it will probably be the most used one, let's go ahead and first take a look at the Normal tab at the top. This tab is going to be used for all 4 and 8-man duties, or if you don't want to list a duty requirement at all, like maybe you're recruiting for your free company or you just want people to chat with, you would use this right here. The first option on the top under Details is for the duty itself. By clicking on this drop-down menu, you can select a specific duty category like Dungeons or Trials or none at all. For this example, I'm going to select Dungeons. Now, when I do, another drop-down menu is going to appear directly underneath it. Clicking on this menu will give you all the specific duties for that category, so this is going to list all the dungeons. If you do not see the duty that you're looking for, go ahead and try another category. You may have it mixed up with something else. Next, you can select your objective. Are you looking for a clear? Do you just want to practice a duty, or are you farming it for loot? You can also just leave this at none. After that, you have the comment box. So if you're farming something in particular, or if you're looking for help, or maybe you want practice tanking like I talked about earlier, you're going to put that information right here. Finally, at the bottom of this section, you can set which jobs you're willing to take. There's a standard blue, green, or red box that will leave the options open to all tanks, healers, or DPS respectively. But you can also click on each one of these individual boxes to restrict that role to a very specific job. So say you want a caster and a melee in your party. You can simply click on those 2 DPS boxes and make sure one only has casters selected and one only has melee selected. You can also just set it to free, which will take anyone of any job. Click OK and you're all set. There's also some standard restrictions below, which will change the options for all of the roles. Remove role restrictions will change all the remaining roles to open, so anyone of any job can join. Unselect classes means the person will have to be on an advanced job and not a starting class to join. And this is really great for any duty over level 30, since from level 30 and beyond, you really should not be using a starter class. Both you and your entire party are going to be at a disadvantage if you are. And last but not least, you can limit 1 player per job, which again is pretty self-explanatory. Now on the other side, we have some more advanced options. On the top, you can select the Limit Recruiting to World Server option, so only people on the same server as you can join your party. And this is going to exclude players from all the other servers on your data center, so you should only really use it if you are dead set that you only want to recruit people from your specific server, because it has the possibility of making your wait significantly longer. You also have the Form a Private Party option, which will then prompt you to enter a 4-digit password. This simply means to join the party, the person would have to enter the correct password. So if you have a static and not everybody's on the same server, you can use this tool as a way for them to join your party. Underneath that, you have completion status. If you turn this on, the only people who are going to be able to join your party are those who've already completed the duty that you're recruiting for. Average item level allows you to set a limit on someone's item level. So if you're doing extreme content, for instance, and you want everybody's gear to be at a certain level, you set that here. If their item level is below this number, they're not going to be able to join. Next, we have Duty Finder settings. And this is the whole reason I went over those Duty Finder settings earlier. Here you can set the options so anybody who joins knows you want to do something like run at the minimum eye level or without any echo bonuses. You can also set loot rules, so if you only want people to be able to greed or you have a loot master, checking these boxes will let them know beforehand that these rules are in place. And then finally, you can restrict the duty to a specific language. This just makes sure, again, that everybody's hopefully speaks the same language. Now you can go ahead, double check everything, make sure everything's correct, and then click on recruit members and your listing will go live. Now you can simply sit back, relax, craft, gather, fish, whatever you want really as you wait for spots to fill. There is one thing I feel I really need to point out here, and that's if someone who's in your party leaves while Party Finder's still active, the role box that they once occupied is going to be set to their specific job only. So say a warrior is in your party, and while Party Finder's up, they leave. The role requirement for tank is then going to be set to warrior only. If you don't want that spot to be limited to just warriors, you're going to need to close the recruitment and change that role requirement back before activating it again. And this is a really quick fix, so don't stress out too much if you have to do it. It's just basically going in there, changing that one thing, and you're done. It's really easy. But I think with that, I've covered absolutely the entirety of Party Finder. So hopefully this is going to make you a lot more comfortable using it, and you're going to be able to complete a lot more things in this game than you thought you'd be able to otherwise. As always, if you're unsure about anything in particular, or you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave those in the comments. If this info was helpful, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. And you can also always follow me on Twitter, which is linked in the description. No pressure though, never any pressure. And as always, it has been a hoot. Until next time, have fun.